Well, hey, welcome everyone back to the latest episode of the Holy Donuts podcast. Thanks for joining us. Today, I am super excited, joined by Erin Anderson from Childcare Worldwide. Going to talk some marketing, donor advancement, all that kind of stuff. Erin, how you doing today?
Doing great, thanks.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Why don't we start out? Give us the 30,000 foot high level overview. Tell us about you, your role, kind of your experience in this space.
Yeah, so I've been in the nonprofit space since college, so probably almost 15 years ago. My degree is in international and community development with a minor in nonprofit business. So I kind of always knew that I wanted to go into nonprofit business. I wanted to help organizations succeed in the long run with their mission. And so really I started out in the volunteer space. I did get my degree in that space, but just started out volunteering with different organizations, have some background in the church world, and have worked everywhere from small nonprofit startups all the way to those with revenue of like 100 million. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Just kind of across the board, seeing everything. So what was your first role? Like, how'd you get started completely? Like, you said volunteering, like, who were you volunteering with? Give us the details. I love that kind of stuff.
Probably what put the bug in me was when I was a teenager. I worked for a local organization through my church called Salkehatchie Summer Service. It's something here in South Carolina. And teenagers and local church people go and help people with repairs to their house that they couldn't otherwise make. That really put the bug in me for helping my local community. And then as I got older, I really enjoyed the business side of things. I really started to enjoy things like marketing and finance and analytics. And so started to kind of marry those two on my journey.
That's so cool. Okay, so give a little bit of shine to your current organization. Tell us a little bit about what Childcare Worldwide does and what your technical title is there. We can be very official about it.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the senior marketing manager at Childcare Worldwide. We are a child evangelism organization that uses child sponsorship as a way to get the gospel to kids, along with supporting their educational needs, their emotional needs, their physical needs. And all of that is done with partnership through the local church. And so we were a founder-led organization for about 40 years, been around, and had a change of leadership around 2019, and they had never had a focused marketing staff person. So yeah, I've been able to come on board and help grow our brand awareness and grow the brand for a new batch of donors coming in.
That's so cool. Well, and the ability to kind of build it from the ground up. It's a fun thing, but it's also a huge challenge, as you know, right? So that's great. So, okay, we're going to hop right into it. Tell the audience out there, other marketing directors, other marketing leaders out there, donor development folks who are listening to this, just give us the quick hit, like best marketing or donor development campaign you've been a part of in your career, right? You said you've been doing it for like 15 years. What's the best? It doesn't have to be necessarily something that, your most recent role has done, but like, what's been the thing you're like, oh my gosh, we did this. This was magical. I wish I could tell people about this.
Okay. So I've got two. I've got one for the really small nonprofit.
Great.
Because 92% of nonprofits have revenue under $1 million, and they're overworked, they're understaffed, they're stressed out, they're out there trying to get their mission done. And I'd love to be able to give them just one piece of advice that doesn't cost any money at all. And I would say if I had one piece of advice for that small nonprofit that's completely free, it would be take your emails and your communications and strip them down completely, ditch your HTML, ditch your visual looking newsletter, and communicate with your donors from a person. So write the email with your name there, non-HTML, make it very personal, speak to them as if you're speaking to one person, and really bring them in on the journey with you. I would say when I was at the larger organization that I was at, we had an email series for new people where we also use that strategy, and it contributed to so much of a response rate that we had to hire more people actually because we were having such a huge donor response.
That is honestly like it's genius, right? Because it makes it so much more personal. When someone sees an email that is great illustrations, great design, there's nothing wrong with that stuff, but like they know that it's a mass email. It automatically sends that alert bell off in their head. Whereas they see something that comes across just like a normal email they get in their inbox. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this feels a lot more. I love, love, love that strategy. Very cool.
Yeah, people
Okay.
give to people, not to organizations. And so I think they love that personal touch, and it's less stress for you rather than trying to put together this
That's
really well worded perfect email. The second thing I would say, if you're a larger organization that's creating content and things around on that side, I've seen a lot of success with repurposing content. So, for example, the organization I work at had a radio show,
yeah,
and it's easy to think, oh, well, this radio show went out to, so many thousands or millions of people, and that's the one channel that it's in, and we need to create something different for lead generation or for email. But what we did was we repurposed that radio show into these 5-minute videos
that's great.
and created an email series with a landing page sign up and use that to acquire new names. So they would just sign up for this series. They would get the radio show basically broken up into a few segments over the course of emails. And that strategy brought in over $1 million in its first year. It was completely free content, but donors resonated with the content and then wanted to make a donation. And so
Yeah.
that's something where I think if you've got content, don't be afraid to repurpose it and cut it and put it in different ways.
Can I just dig deeper on that? Because I love getting
Yeah,
in the weeds on that.
go for it.
When you guys did that campaign, were you seeing a different like donor type or different kind of donor
Yes.
avatar with that content as
Absolutely,
opposed to
absolutely. So the person who listens to a radio show is a different demographic than somebody who wants to
totally,
watch quick video clips on their phone. And
totally.
so another benefit of doing this is we were able to run ads about this email series on social media and things like that and acquire a different type of donor as well.
That's so cool. I love that. That's absolutely genius. No, great, great advice. I love these because I learned so much just by hearing people like you talk about this kind of stuff and say, oh, that's genius. Yeah, why did I think of that? Okay, so this is kind of a hard question. I'm going to ask for a hot take here a little bit.
Sure.
What's one trend in kind of nonprofit marketing that's got you really excited? Like, so that's a good hot take, right? And then what's one trend in nonprofit marketing that you're like, oh man, I wish this would die already?
Yeah. I'm really excited about the potential of AI. And I bring that up because it's not specific to nonprofit or to marketing, but I know that nonprofit organizations can sometimes be really behind the ball when it comes to trends and adopting new technology. It can be really scary. Sometimes you feel like you don't have the bandwidth to explore it. But for nonprofits who have staff that are wearing multiple hats, that are overworked, using AI tools, even exploring something like ChatGPT, could be really helpful for brainstorming, for generating ideas, for editing content. You do have to be careful about having it completely write things for you, but it can create a starting place for people who could use some help with that. So I'm excited about that possibility.
Yeah, yeah. And there's so many great tools coming out every day. I think that's for me, that's been, I don't know about you, but like the AI stuff is great. And it's like, I just feel like I'm swimming sometimes with like, okay, I feel like there are 5 or 10 new tools coming out a day. And I'm just
Yeah.
struggling to keep up with what all they are. Anywhere that you're looking online, you're like, hey, these are the ones that you should really be looking at instead of just like, oh my gosh, I'm in overwhelm mode with all the options out there.
Yeah, I prefer ChatGPT to start out because I think it's very intuitive. There's a lot of other AI tools out there that are going to do video and image and all that kind of stuff. But I think if you can just start out with something like that, where you just experiment with the prompts a little bit, even within my
Yeah.
own organization, I know that I've heard from some people, oh, this is scary. I don't know about using this tool.
Yeah.
And so I definitely understand that piece. But I think that exploring and adopting new technology as a nonprofit is what can
So
help us make up that gap between us and the for-profit industry.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of a great equalizer, right? Because it gives you
Yeah.
the advantage to do things, punch above the weight class a little bit, especially if you are a smaller nonprofit.
Yeah.
That can be really, really helpful. Okay, so what's one trend that you're frustrated with or you're concerned about or that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just over this? Like, can we move on from this?
This one might step on some toes a little bit.
Be
I was
comfortable
just
with it. It's okay.
I I think that I'm not for fundraising galas.
Okay. I love it.
Um,
Yes.
Yes, it may be because of my age, because I'm a millennial, but
Yeah.
I think that we need to rethink the way that we do fundraising events. I think that people who go to galas dread going to galas. I think there's a lot of emotional time and energy that's spent towards them. So galas and things like that that take up so much emotional time and space on the fun team of the fundraisers or the donor development team, I think that you could be more effective by being personal with a smaller group of people versus trying to throw an event like that. But
I
again, your mileage
agree.
may vary. Every organization's
Yeah,
different, but that's
yeah,
just my 2
yeah.
cents.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a local, Young Life, chapter out there, and your gala's bringing in, half of your
Yeah,
annual revenue, by all means,
right.
please keep
Go
doing
for
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, by all means, please keep on that.
right,
But if I tend to agree with you, though, I mean, like, I just think of it really practically. Okay, if we're going to spend between our entire staff, let's say we spend 100, 150 hours across
right.
months and months planning this, right?
Yeah,
Plus, then all the costs associated with it and the event stuff. I mean, if you spent 150 hours on 150 1-hour coffee
that's right.
appointments with your
100%.
best donors, or the people that are prospective donors, or people that you have a list that you say, hey, here's who we're going to invite. Just go out to coffee with every single one of those
Right,
people and build a personal relationship. One, at that gala, if you're a staff member, you're going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off anyway.
right.
Like, you're not going to have a lot of time for actual FaceTime with those folks. And if you take them all to coffee, I think you get a better ROI on that. Plus, none
Yeah,
of the stress. I mean, if you told
yeah,
me I have to
I
have
agree.
coffee, 5 times a week for the next year, okay, cool, that's great. Those are just conversations, and yeah, I agree with your hot take. Although,
Yep, people give to
do what's
people.
best for your organization, right? But do what's best for your organization. Disclaimer:
Right,
this
of
is not
course.
legal or financial advice,
If your
but
gala's working and everyone loves it,
right,
go ahead.
by all means. Cool. Well, last question this afternoon that we'll talk through. What's a
Yeah.
resource, a book, a podcast? Like, what's been one of your favorite things that's been helpful for your development that you would give to every other person who's working with a ministry, nonprofit in marketing?
Yeah, I'll give you 2.
Cool.
The book that I love that really helped me a lot is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller.
That's great.
Helping reframe your perspective to I see a lot of nonprofits make their organization the hero, make it the center, and you can really gain a lot by learning how to tell stories and make
Yeah.
your donor the hero. The second is an organization called Next After. And
Yeah.
I would recommend just giving them a quick Google search. They have lots of free resources. They have lots of experiments that they do specifically in the nonprofit space to help nonprofits succeed in their messaging, their website, things of that nature. So I've really enjoyed that
Love
resource.
it. Great resources for sure. And this is, I should get them to sponsor, but they're not sponsor. Next After is having a great conference. If they have tickets left,
Right.
it's the NIO conference in Dallas. I'll be
Yeah.
there actually end of
Nice.
September. Come hang out. It's going to be a blast. Are you going to that by chance, Erin? Not to
No,
put
I wish
that
I
star
were.
in my
I'm
mouth.
probably if you do any virtual sessions, I'll try to catch those.
Well, it's definitely a great one to attend. So if you haven't registered for that, go check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun and really a lot of great content. But Next After in general, absolutely wonderful. Those experiments are a lifesaver. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Erin, tell people if they want to connect with you, if they want to just, network within the industry and be able to say, hey, bounce ideas off each other. Where can they find you online? Are you a social media person? What would be the best way to connect?
Yeah, absolutely. You can probably find me on LinkedIn. That's the easiest. There's multiple Erin Andersons that come up. I'm wearing a pair of black glasses in it. So,
Love it.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Erin, seriously, so much. This has been so valuable and so much good insight. I really appreciate you coming on today, and we'll look forward to speaking with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for all you do.